Hey guys, it's John, and today we are playing a game called Midnight Evil. This was developed by Nathan Sanders, who is one of the two people behind 123 Slaughter Me Street, if you remember that game, and its sequel, 123 Slaughter Me Street 2. So we're gonna play it. It has this neat little feature that it just told me about, where I can use my microphone to narrate. In narrate mode, the player must read the story into their microphone as it unfolds. Okay. Looks like I actually can't do the narrate mode because I uninstalled Cortana because it's basically bloatware, but that's fine. We'll just do listen mode. The player must listen to the story as it unfolds. All right, let's just see what it's like. Play. That's too bad. I was looking to narrate. As the clock approached midnight, William Grinkle was fast asleep. William Grinkle, huh? Is that him sleeping? Tonight was different, though. He woke to a strange sound coming from the attic. I guess that's him heading upstairs. Dude, you got that creepy picture of like an evil mouse on the wall. As he climbed the stairs, he felt something. What? He had never seen this chest before. I mean, you know, you're at about that age, you're going through some changes. Just an innocent book. Tonight, his life would change forever. Okay, I guess it's a big important book. Let's find out what it's all about then. Here we are. Guys, we're in the game. I see that over there. That's a 123 Slaughter Me Street nightlight Easter egg over there. All right, so I'm sitting with my legs crossed, and we're opening up.
Long before the first humans stood upright and took their place in the world, there was a beautiful land that was ruled by what many would come to call the Fae. These ancient beings were worshipped by mankind, but they were also feared. Humans were right to be afraid, for there were many different creatures that lived in the darkness, watching us, waiting. Most were harmless enough, amusing themselves by causing
I don't have to narrate
and
shit.
pranks on humans that crossed their paths. However, some had more sinister intentions. The Urkling, for example, have developed a liking for the taste of human children. These monsters are small, unnaturally fast, and impossible to kill.
Impossible?
It was an...
Sorry to interrupt you, dude. I heard something, though. Probably just the house settling, I guess.
It was an unlucky tragedy for my people that we decided to build our village here, right in the middle of the Urkling's territory. We have lost so many of our children over this past year. There aren't enough tears in this world to weep for their loss.
That many, huh? All right. What's going on out here?
Thankfully, though, my grandmother taught me well in the ways of my druid ancestors. I may not be able to kill...
Dude. You moving chairs around out there? What's going on? Okay.
I may not be able to kill the little beasts, but I was able to work out a spell that binds them to this book. I can...
At this point, I'd put it back in the attic. As soon as I read that sentence, goodbye.
I can only hide it and pray that it never falls into the hands of a child.
Definitely now. If I didn't put it in for the previous sentence, I'd put it in the bin for that last one.
If you are reading this, know that I'm truly sorry for the demons that have now been passed on to you.
Okay, and if the last sentence didn't do it for me, that one definitely would. Just saying, got plenty of opportunities to backpedal out of this.
Opening the book will have awakened them, and I'm sure they will be ravenously hungry.
For
Once
human
the book
flesh?
is opened, you must read it out loud from beginning to end in order to return them to their magical prison. Be watchful. They only attack if you don't see them coming. Most importantly, once you finish this book, keep it hidden so that no one ever opens it again.
Why not just like burn it or something? I got some achievements.
WIGSFM 98.7 Game Talk.
Game Talk.
Hello, darkness. My name is Nick Gloom. It's just me tonight. As you guys know, we answer game questions and talk tips and tricks.
Hence the name, Game
Well,
Talk.
Nate usually does. I don't really play most of those games.
Then why are you on Game
Anyway,
Talk?
let's get to the phones.
Nick,
First caller, you're on the air.
you're fired.
Hi, Nick. I'm wondering, how do I beat the final boss in Terminator Destruction?
How would I know that?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm stuck here working for crap money. I still can't afford to buy new Atari games.
Well then, don't be on Game Talk.
Would you like me to page Nate?
I don't
Here's
know.
the thing. Like I said, I'm working here. I don't usually come on the radio. So,
Oh,
I don't have as much of a bedside manner as Nate does. But it's totally fine. I bought a new OBasic book, which is the programming language for Atari, since I can't afford to buy my own Atari games, and I'm working on my own homebrew game. The pending title is Evil Midnight, where I'm not sure what you're going to have to do yet, but I think it's going to be a horror game, and it's going to be at nighttime, and it's going to be evil. Basically,
Wait.
you would
No.
do something all night, and then you would win. It's kind of like working here.
are we
I try
playing?
to keep my head down all night, but
No.
Janet asked me to go on the air. And I'm always getting asked to do stuff.
Friggin' Janet.
The more stuff I get asked to do, the more I get anxious and panic. It's a vicious cycle.
You're
Is this
on
some
the
kind
air.
of life lesson? I just want to play Terminator.
Here's the thing.
I love the nerd. Wait, are we playing Nick Gloom's game? Evil Midnight or whatever? Heh, the Germinator. Oh. Front to the present. War Stars. Saws. Okay. I didn't even notice these before. Toastbusters. Dragons and Dungeons. 123 Slaughter Me Street again. Okay. Let's open the book and keep reading. What was that?
Little Maggie O'Brien was the first. The children had been playing in Hogan's Forest when they all heard a noise. Sensing no
What the? What was that little green Einstein looking dude? Dude, he had like a Friar Tuck haircut. It was like Flubber Tuck is what that was. Okay. No, read the book. Go, wait, but how do you stop them? I thought if you looked at them, then they stopped doing their thing.
Little Maggie O'Brien was the first.
They just have to stop after every single sentence. Okay.
The children had been playing in Hogan's Forest when they all heard a noise.
Does this mean that they're coming? So if I catch them in the act, then they don't come in? Is that how it works? Okay.
Sensing no danger because there were so many of them, 12 children in all decided to investigate the source of the strange sound.
Huh? Huh? Okay.
As they all searched high and low, they soon realized that Maggie was missing.
Did you guys see that reaction? Lightning reflexes. Immediately. Okay. Somebody just slammed a car door outside. I'm being paranoid.
Frantically, they began searching for their friend.
Okay. See, what does this mean? It means that somebody's coming. It's like I got some sort of spidey sense. For flubber monsters with Friar Tuck haircuts. I think we're good, though. I don't see anything.
She was a small girl who loved to play hide and seek. Her big brother...
Sorry to cut you off, bro, but can never be too careful.
Her big brother, Colin, insisted that she was probably hiding somewhere, safe and giggling to herself as she watched everyone search for her.
Dude, okay, so how do you stop him? Ooh, I gotta move the reticle right to him. Okay, that's what I didn't do last time. You gotta look directly at them. So now the window's open. That sucks. It's gonna stay open the rest of the time. So now I don't have an audio cue for him. Okay, so it's kind of like Boogeyman.
The sun sank low in the sky and the forest grew dark. The children, frustrated and panicked, ran back to the village to alert their parents that little Maggie was nowhere to be found.
I'm watching you, buddy. Watching you.
That's when everyone lit torches and spread out through the woods, calling her name.
Congratulations on finishing that. Oh my god, there's 2 more
The little
pages.
girl's mother sobbed desperately as we all inspected every corner of those woods in hopes of finding her. Her brother kept searching, tears streaming down his cheeks.
I'm her
Okay.
I'm her big brother.
He said, rubbing his eyes.
I'm supposed to make sure nothing happens to her.
It's not your fault, Colin, I assured him. We'll find her soon, and she'll be no worse for the wear.
That's not how you spell that, but okay. What? What was that? Oh. Why don't you come up? Come up and get scared away immediately.
He nodded, forced a smile, and we all continued looking. The moment I heard him scream, I knew he had found her.
Dude, he tried to get in through my window, fell down to the ground, scampered around out there, somehow found his way into the house, ran up the stairs, and came to my room. That is dedication.
Or rather, what was left of her, which wasn't much.
Oh no.
We were sure it was Maggie because she had worn her favorite hair bow that day. Her father plucked the pink ribbon from the body and fell to his knees, wailing into the darkness. Poor Colin tried to...
Dude. I heard you, buddy boy.
Poor Colin tried to tell us then. He said that she had been covered in what he described as little green men.
Germs?
They were
What? This chapter's so long.
they were fat and green
He stammered.
with bright glowing eyes. They were biting off bits of skin and flesh.
No one believed the lad. We all attributed the horrible ordeal to a hungry wild animal. Of course, what else could it possibly be? Scooping up what remained of little Maggie, the townsfolk set to work preparing for her funeral.
Scooping
They
up.
had no idea the horrors that lay ahead. I thought to myself how strange her wounds looked.
Yeah, okay, detective. What'd you notice about them? Do
I
it.
couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. It made me think of the stories my grandmother used to tell me. She said that our druid ancestors spoke of tiny creatures that lived long ago in the swamps and marshes surrounding our lands. The earth.
What the? Sorry, dude, but how did you get in here? Were you just under the bed? At least he's embarrassed, doesn't want to be seen. Probably that haircut.
She called them. There were 3 tribes, each being their own breed of evil. One tribe, I recall, she said were green and fat. They would lure children away from safety and feast on their flesh.
reading that very matter-of-factly. Okay.
We didn't live near any swamps. Surely the boy's mind was playing tricks on him. Besides, the Earthlings weren't real. They couldn't be.
Dude. Okay. Got another achievement. What's going on here? Turn off the fan. You close the window, you close the door. Good. How much more do we gotta read, man? Alright, let's read chapter
Maggie
2.
O'Brien's funeral was just what anyone would expect. Everyone did their best to comfort the grieving parents. Colin kept to himself. Everyone assumed it was because he blamed himself. After his sister had been laid to rest, I came to him to ask him how he was doing. He looked up at me, eyes red from either crying, lack of sleep, or a combination of the two, and said,
I really saw them. The little green monsters.
My heart ached.
Dude, why do the paragraphs have to be so long? Okay.
My heart ached as I put my arms around the boy. I kept telling myself that seeing his little sister in pieces couldn't have been easy for him.
You kept telling him that? Oh no, you kept telling myself. Seeing his little sister in pieces couldn't have been easy for him. Why'd you have to repeatedly tell yourself that?
He was just
You
in
psychopath.
shock. The stories of the Urkel.
Whoa, okay. How did you get there, you little rascal? Alright.
The stories of the Urklings were only told to scare children into doing what they were told. That was all. The first thing my grandmother told me about the Urklings was that there were 3 tribes.
Great. 3 tribes. Okay, so we've seen the little green guys, so there's 2 others, basically is what you're saying. Alright.
The green ones had round bellies and piercing blue eyes. She said they could...
Piercing blue eyes? Was this their Tinder profile?
She said they could be
Piercing
heard
blue
if you
eyes.
walked deep in the swamp at night.
Turn the
They
page.
would laugh and sing as they danced around their tiny campfires, which would appear only as tiny flickering lights through the trees. They were the least lethal.
Hiding behind the laundry basket? That's a terrible hiding spot.
They were the least lethal of the 3 tribes, but every bit as evil.
Least lethal, same evil. That's their tagline.
The red ones were more temperamental and even faster than their green cousins.
Uh-oh.
They didn't sing or dance around campfires, and their celebrations were a bit more gruesome. They prefer to eat children from the inside out.
How do you know this? Did someone observe their eating habits? And they didn't stop them?
It was even thought by some that they were only red because they were stained by the blood of their victims. Fiery red, bristle-like hairs sprouted from the tops of their heads, and their glowing yellow eyes seemed cold and calculating.
So like, but where though? I keep hearing, is something in the closet? Something's in the closet, dude. Thanks for doing all this scientific research on these Urklings, by the way.
The pale Urklings were in another class altogether. They had white skin.
Dude? I like how they shrink down to nothing.
They had white skin and wild, untamed blue hair that flowed out in every direction.
Cool.
The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all. Yet they somehow were the most keen and efficient killers of the 3.
It's like at the end of every sentence, you have a chance for one of them to spawn.
Grandmother said that their long, wiry hair could somehow sense the presence and locations of children.
So it's like, maybe after every sentence I should take a look.
There were some things that all 3 tribes had in common.
What the hell? What is that? It's like the kid freaks out for a second, but about what?
Urklings preferred to eat after midnight and would only attack if the child didn't make direct eye contact with them. I reassured...
Sheepish little dudes, aren't they? They're ruthless monsters that will eat children, but if you make direct eye contact with them, They're done for. They're embarrassed. They're gonna go hide.
I reassured myself that the O'Brien girl being attacked barely after sunset meant that she had to have been the victim of a wild animal attack.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A few of the men in the village came together to hunt down the beast that killed the girl. They came back 2 days...
Fuck you. Ooh.
They came back 2 days later, carrying the carcass of a large wolf.
Mm-hmm.
The whole village breathed a sigh of relief, and a big celebration was held. The only one besides myself that remained anxious was Colin.
I saw you pop up there.
Looking at his face that night, I knew that he believed the creatures that killed Maggie were still out there, waiting. He was right.
Okay.
He was right.
I did it. Oh, now we're gonna listen to Game Talk.
IGSFM 98.7 Game Talk.
Game Talk.
Hello, darkness. Welcome to the top of the hour. Again, I'm your host, Nick Gloom, filling in for Nate tonight.
Again?
That was an interesting hour, I must say. I don't know, Janet. I feel like these kids don't like me.
We don't.
Hey, Janet, do you like me?
She doesn't.
And she's walking away, folks. Anyway, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Nick. Just calling in, wanted to say that you suck.
I just had a feeling that was coming. I feel like I'm not as approachable as Nate is. Oh yeah, so anyway, I forgot there's a sponsor slot I was supposed to fill last hour.
Who would sponsor this?
This one goes out to all you greasy, pizza-faced listeners. Are you tired of popping pimples?
Ew, gross.
Do some zits appear over and over and you have to keep popping them?
Gross.
Kind of like that popular video game, Mole Whacker? From the creators of Simple Pimple comes the revolutionary cream, Pimple Buster.
Gross!
The all-in-one, scientifically formulated pimple-destroying cream.
Pimple destroying?
Call 155 PIMPLES.
I'm not
But
calling
hurry, before supplies
155
run out.
pimples.
That's 155 PIMPLES.
I'm not calling that number.
You know, Janet, I think Evil Midnight could use some Mole Whacker inspiration. Something to keep the player on their toes. Or at least that last prank caller could drink some of that Pimple Buster.
Drink?
I don't know
you
what it
drink
is.
it? What you? Oh no. Oh, okay. I get what he was saying. He didn't like that last caller. He wanted to poison them with Pimple Buster. Let's read chapter 3.
The next day, Maggie's mother visited her daughter's grave, discovering something that was more than a little strange. The earth on the grave was disturbed, as if something had clawed its way out. I couldn't help but remember what grandmother had said about the red Urklings. They would...
Dude, don't even think about it.
They would burrow inside their victims and eat their way out. Could it be that we brought a whole tribe of them right into the village without even knowing it? The answer would come soon enough. Jacob McLaren was found torn to shreds in his bed the following morning. Obviously, a wild animal hadn't attacked him inside his own house.
Dude, give it up already.
Another devastated family and another funeral this soon after Maggie didn't sit well with anyone.
Okay.
The atmosphere became even more tense and uncomfortable. I insisted on inspecting Jacob's remains myself just to reassure myself that there was nothing hiding inside.
Gross, man. What, how were you inspecting his remains then? Did you cut him open?
Colin approached me afterwards, asking what I was looking for. I told him it was nothing, but he knew better.
You believe me about the monsters, don't you?
His young face as determined as he spoke.
You're the only one that doesn't look at me like I'm crazy.
I swallowed hard and started to deny it, but the words caught in my throat, and as much as I tried, I couldn't lie.
Dude.
Listen, I put my hands on his shoulders. I don't think you're crazy, but we need to be sure of what we're dealing with before we spark a full-blown panic. Tell me exactly what happened. Colin took a deep breath, working up his nerve.
It was so dark, but I had a good torch. I called her name over and over. She didn't answer.
I haven't seen the other two yet that they were talking about, the red one and the pale one. I don't know what they sound like yet.
Then I heard something. It sounded like...
Dude, just you again.
It sounded like chewing. I took a few more steps and I saw her...
That was a different one. What? There were 3 of them. That was the red one, I guess. Ugly little troll-looking thing.
I took a few more steps and I saw her laying there, all over her with these fat little green monsters. They had mouth...
What? What? Are you scared? Calm down, it's alright.
They had mouthfuls of pointy teeth that looked like needles and massive clawed hands. Just then a twig snapped under my foot and they all stopped what they were doing and looked right at me. That's when I screamed and they scattered.
Yeah. What? Get your troll doll looking ass out of here. Yeah, they come in sets of 3, I guess. Or it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. They all came at once.
They were gone before any of the grown-ups got to me.
Okay. Seems like that's just ambient noise every time I've heard that.
His eyes filled with tears at the memory.
Please, tell me what they are.
He was no more than 11 or 12, having just lost his sister and now his friend. No.
Only 2 of you this time, huh?
No one had believed him when he tried to tell us before. It couldn't have been easy, but he opened up to me. I felt it only right that I tell him what I knew. We sat together by the bonfire late into the night, and I told him all the old stories. Unfortunately, the one thing that my grandmother hadn't mentioned was how to get rid of them. Looking into the flames, I got an idea. I knew that...
I heard something, but I don't see anything.
I knew that most unholy creatures were repelled by fire.
Well,
Colin...
Dude. Oh my god, dude. There's 4 of them at once?
well,
Colin folded his arms.
we would just have to test.
Nothing.
We would just have to test what happens to an Earthling when it's on fire.
You little sociopath? Oh hey, it's the 1, 2, 3 Slaughter Me Street characters right there. Okay.
Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Earthlings, but I begged him to keep it a secret. If anyone knew that my grandmother had passed down her druidic teachings, it would only take one person to scream, "Witch," and I would be as good as dead. He agreed and kept my secret.
Dude. Don't you even think about it. Oh. Don't you even think about it. I'm the thought police.
I
If you
mixed a
even
potion
think
that
about
would
it.
catch fire when touched by the tiniest flame. Surely this would send...
What? You guys gonna pop up after every sentence now, huh?
Surely this would send it screaming to the underworld. He sat quietly in his bed and waited, knowing he mustn't look them in the eye. He must let it attack, for this would be the only way to get close to it.
Where is it? I heard it. I don't see it. It is very polite of them to wait until I'm done reading a sentence before they spawn.
Just after the stroke of midnight, he began to hear them chuckling and shuffling around in the dark, clutching the...
Hey, you little chuckle fucks. Thanks for snickering as you enter my room.
Clutching the potion bottle, hands trembling, he lowered his gaze and braced himself. Sure enough, one of them leapt from his bookshelf and sank its teeth into the flesh of his arm.
I like when you catch them, they're like...
He screamed and unstopped the bottle, emptying the contents over the green Urkling. It tore a tiny round chunk from his arm and gulped it down just as Colin shoved a candle right into its face. It lit up like a torch and made a horrific, high-pitched scream as it ran around the room trying to put itself out. The curtain...
Fuck you.
The curtains caught fire as 4 more Urklings sprung out from their hiding places. Colin ran...
Dude. No, I got you! No, I got you! Oh. Dude, I got you. I guess my reticle wasn't quite centered. I like how when they kill you, they're just like... And then that's it. You're dead. There's no hope against that attack. That all-out assault.
The curtains caught fire as 4 more Urklings sprung out from their hiding places. Colin ran outside, screaming and cradling his blood-soaked arm.
All right.
His parents soon joined him outside in a panic, trying to figure out what had happened. Just then, a tiny fireball came racing through the doorway and zigzagged towards the woods.
Why do you do that?
I grabbed an empty glass jar from my cupboard and ran after it.
I gotta sneeze. Okay.
The jar made a thunk sound as it landed over the flaming Urkling, and the fire quickly went out. To my horror, this thing wasn't dead. It...
All right.
It didn't even look like it was dying. Though blackened from the being set ablaze, it was just as spunky as ever. I quickly scooped up the jar and screwed the lid on.
It's a long-ass chapter.
As I made my way back, some of the villagers were trying to put out the fire inside at the house, and others were tending to Colin's arm, telling him that it must have been a rat.
What is that? I got an achievement for that green gem. It's a data block. Huh? That's weird.
"I've never seen a rat quite like this," I shouted, and held the jar up high so everyone could see.
Where? Where you at? I heard you.
The instant they all looked in my direction, their jaws dropped open, and Colin's face lit up for the first time since he'd lost his sister.
Only 2? Only 2? You little shits.
He knew everyone finally saw that he had been telling the truth all along, and they all felt terribly ashamed for not believing him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the joy of this small victory was short-lived.
Only 2? Are you sure?
For over the next 3 days, we tried every method we could think of to kill the little wretch, but no matter what horrific thing we did, it wouldn't die.
And we've done it.
WIGS-FM 98.7
Great.
Game Talk. Game Talk.
Hello, darkness. I'm your host, Nick Gloom, in for Nate tonight, as we dive deep into game talk.
Not really, though.
Sorry about those technical issues we
It's just gonna be you
experienced last
complaining.
hour. I think Janet might have fallen asleep. For those of you that missed it, we were having an interesting discussion about game difficulty and learning curves. You know, Nate likes Dragons and Dungeons, but apparently I'm dumb for thinking it's too difficult. Apparently, kids can play it. So what do I know? Kinda like my work in progress, Evil Midnight, which, as I mentioned earlier, if you weren't around, is going to be more of a horror game. I'm not really sure, but I would imagine, in a game like that, confusing the player could be an evil tactic. Something like grooming them up to expect one thing, and then yank the rug out, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I'm rambling. Hello, caller, you're on Game Talk.
What are you gonna do?
Must have lost him. Hello, caller, you're on Game Talk.
The Earthlings are calling him.
Very funny, guys. Caller, you're on Game Talk.
They hate game talk. Hey, at least we can unite together with that. Where's that? Where's that image? That. We can unite over our hatred of Nick Gloom. Okay. No, but for real, chapter 5, right? Let's go. Let's do this. So, when he says that the player's been groomed to expect one thing and then pulling the rug out from under them, I think they might start showing up in the middle of reading a sentence. That's what I'm guessing.
We tried drowning it. We even had
Something's going to be different this night.
the priest bring
Or
us holy
this
water
chapter.
when water from the well didn't work.
It was the white one. The pale one.
We cut off its head, but as soon as we snipped its neck, the head grew a new body, and the body grew a new head. Then we had two angry Earthlings in jars.
Stop that.
It was immune to every kind of poison that we knew of. It could heal quickly from any cuts it sustained. We even tried squashing it flat, but it would just puff back up in a matter of a few minutes.
I already got one page down, fellas. You gonna let that stand?
By this point, the Earthlings had infested every corner of the village. Parents had to stand guard over their sleeping children.
What does the pale one do?
Between the stroke of midnight and the first light of dawn, they became absolutely ravenous. It appeared that there was nothing else we could do. As much as I hated the thought of disturbing my grandmother, I knew that she was the only one that might be able to give me any insight as to how I could get rid of them.
Okay.
I asked Colin to meet me in secret at her grave. I brought grandmother's old spirit board with me, which had every letter of the alphabet on it. Colin and I placed a small glass cup upside down in the center of the board and waited. The idea was that her spirit would guide the cup to the letters, and in doing so, spell out a message to me.
Put a lot of eggs in this basket. Okay.
Grandmother, I spoke aloud. I really need your help. Speak to us. Your magic is the only thing that can save these children. We waited, but we were met with only silence.
You're nothing. You're nothing.
Please, grandmother, I pleaded. I don't know what to do.
Showing up in the middle of the sentence. What'd I say? Oh, wait, no. Did it?
I would do anything to save these children, anything. Just tell me what to do, please. I begged her to answer me, but the glass didn't move, and no answer would come from the spirit board that night.
Okay.
As we snuck back to the village, we were greeted with the news of 3 more deaths.
Is that it? Just the green one? Dude, I've gone through 4 chapters of this shit. You're gonna have to send more than the green one.
The widow Adams had fallen asleep guarding her 3 little ones. She always worked
Okay.
She always worked so hard, toiling in the fields from dawn until dusk to make sure her family was fed. After she lost her husband to sickness, she was the only caretaker for her children. Now they were gone too, and she was truly alone. As I lay in my bed crying, I felt responsible for what was happening. I hadn't paid much attention as a child when my grandmother tried to teach me the old ways. If I had been a better student,
Come on, man.
If I had been a better student, I could have spared my people so much misery and death.
My people? My people. Okay, sorry.
Eventually, I drifted off to sleep. It was only then that my grandmother finally came to me in a dream and told me what I must do if I wanted to rid the village of the Earthlings once and for all. But their imprisonment would come at a terrible price.
Thanks. All right, we're done with that one. I got another achievement. I keep getting these data block achievements. I don't know what they're for. They all say like a combination of letters and numbers. I don't know if it's like a password for something or if it's a mistake or what. All right, so the lights are all off now except for the 123 Slaughter Me Street light, night light. I guess we'll just go.
I found myself walking through the dark forest. The damp earth under my bare feet felt cool and mossy.
They're a little more difficult to see, I guess, when it's dark.
In the distance, I could hear drums. A bright light was shining through the trees. I continued cautiously, unsure of what to expect when I entered the clearing.
Okay, good thing their eyes glow.
As I came closer, I could see people dancing around the fire. A beautiful woman stood with her hands outstretched towards the sky. It took a moment before I recognized her.
Okay.
Grandmother? Is that you?
Hello, dear. I heard your call, but I could not come to you. I had to wait until you fell asleep to bring you here.
Ha! What's up, automated voice? Text to speech?
What is this place? I asked, looking around.
This is where all of our people go when their time on Earth ends.
Dude, your grandma's Siri. Why didn't you tell us? She's famous.
Can I stay here with you?
No, my darling. I'm afraid you can't.
I could see the sorrow in her eyes as she put a sympathetic hand on my cheek.
In fact, if you really mean to imprison all the Earthlings, you will never be allowed to take your place here.
My heart sank like a stone. What do you mean?
If you wish to trap them, your immortal soul will be lost forever. Do you understand?
Sure.
I bit my lip as I thought of Maggie, Jacob, and the 3 Adams children.
Dude, come on. 2 at once?
I couldn't even imagine the horror they must have felt during their final moments. Then I pictured...
What's up? You came back so soon? Haven't you learned your lesson yet? Haven't any of you learned your lessons yet? Huh?
Then I pictured Colin and the other children of the village. I simply couldn't
eyes in the back of my head, bro.
I simply couldn't bear to let the Earthlings pick them off one by one. Soon
I got an achievement. Somehow. Was it another one of those green blocks?
Soon we would have no children left. I couldn't let that happen, no matter the cost.
Yeah.
Tell me what I must do. My grandmother's expression grew dark as she described the ingredients to 2 potions.
Stop.
Then she explained the details of the spell I would have to perform to trap them within a cursed tome forever.
All 3? You sent all 3 of them after me, huh?
As she spoke, I could feel my blood run cold, and a horrible chill spread through my entire body. My throat became so dry that I could hardly speak. I can't, I managed to say. No, I can't do this.
I saw you. Out of the corner of my eye.
I stumbled backwards, feeling sick to my stomach.
You must. If you don't finish every step exactly as I say, the Earthlings will never stop.
I fell to my knees and put my hands over my face. Please, there must be another way.
Oh, wait. I got another data block. What? That was one of those jewels.
I don't make the rules, my dear. I can only tell you the way things are.
I sobbed pitifully, and my grandmother knelt down, putting her arms around me and holding me close.
The right thing to do is rarely the easiest. Be strong.
She whispered as I woke.
Be strong.
It's so funny. I like hearing it.
As soon as I opened my eyes, I began to question the dream. Did my grandmother's spirit really visit me, or was it just my anxious mind playing tricks on me? In my heart, I knew.
Nice try.
I had to cast this spell. I had to.
Dude. Assholes.
I had to save them.
Okay. Gotta look at your Otori. Alright. Chapter 7, huh?
I searched Hogan's forest for the various herbs I would need to brew 2 potions.
Get out of here, Friar Tuck.
I smelled the sweet perfume of the forest air and listened to the songs of the birds and insects of the woods, knowing that it would be the last time I would ever get to enjoy them.
I like the long paragraphs now. It means that they don't get to do anything during that time.
Once I gathered all my ingredients, I found Colin and told him that I knew how to end the Earthling's reign of darkness, but that I would need his help.
Like I said, I wish I could play this with narrate, where I actually read out the words, but I don't know how to reinstall
Cortana. What was about
Cortana.
to happen. I couldn't find the courage.
Honestly, I don't know how I uninstalled Cortana. I just know it was causing problems for me with Windows 10, so I got rid of
Not
it.
to mention, if he knew what I was about to do, he would do everything in his power to stop me.
Where you at, man?
He was a good boy. I never had the privilege.
Dude, I got you guys. Jeez.
I never had the privilege of having children of my own, but if I had, I would have wanted them to be just like Colin O'Brien. Brave, honest, and kind. Together, we walked into the deepest part of Hogan's forest. The old stone ruins marked a sacred place where our ancestors used to honor the ancient woodland spirits.
What was that? What was that? Who made that noise?
12 large rectangular stones stood in a massive circle. I sat my pack down and opened it up, taking out this very book. I opened it to the first page and laid it in the center of the circle. Next, I took out the 2 potions, one black and one white.
Uh-huh.
I gave Colin the small bottle that held the black liquid. You will need to drink this. It will protect you.
Stop that.
He frowned for a moment as he inspected the murky potion, but obediently pulled the stopper out of the bottle and drank it down.
Just you, huh? None of your buddies?
Ugh, that was awful.
I smiled. Well, I don't plan on making you drink it again. I took the white potion and drank it, trying not to think about the fact that it was sealing my fate.
What are you guys doing? Oh my god.
Something doesn't feel right.
Colin started wobbling. I'm sorry, my boy, I said sincerely. Truly I am.
Where? Nothing?
His eyes rolled back and he fell into a deep...
Sorry.
His eyes rolled back and he fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. When he woke, he found himself bound with rope and blindfolded.
Well, that sucks. No! There were like a million of them. Game over. Oh, okay. Right. I thought it wasn't going to let me try again. You ugly, dude.
When he woke, he found himself bound with rope and blindfolded. The black potion, you see, had 3 functions. It was infused with herbs that would make him, first and foremost, irresistible to every Earthling within 100 miles.
What? What are you doing, asshole?
Secondly, it contained the binding agent that would ensnare the creatures and keep them forever trapped in a pocket dimension that could only be opened using this cursed book. Thirdly,
Yeah, what a brilliant plan. Look at how it panned out.
Thirdly, it incapacitated him long enough for me to finish the remaining steps of the spell. You see, while he was unconscious, I was writing this book. As I penned these
He fell for my plan. I was writing in the book the whole time.
God, mustache twirling villain over here.
As I pen these final words, I can already see my skin turning white. My hair...
Speaking of skin turning white. So, are you turning into an Urkling?
My hair has mostly fallen out, and long blue hair is growing in. At first I thought...
Dude. What? That was quick. I was almost at the end, too.
At first I thought Colin was getting bigger, but I see now that I'm slowly shrinking. My vision is fading. I can hear the others coming.
Where? I heard it.
I keep telling Colin not to be afraid, that it will all be over soon. After we eat him, we will all be trapped in the book.
You done?
His screams will be the last thing I hear. Please forgive me, for I can never forgive myself.
Did I do it? I got an achievement. And now it's daytime. Did we finish?
The sun rose, and William Grinkle was safe. He ran to the attic to lock the book up for good. The chest was gone. So he ran to the yard and buried it.
Okay, why not burn it? I guess the book has to remain closed or something?
Once done, he turned and saw a page on the ground.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He cautiously approached it. The page was empty.
Oh, okay. So that was Midnight Evil. Have several thoughts on this, as it's one of my favorite genres of horror games. Survive the night. Yeah, it's oh, hello, William. We are just getting started. Colin. What do you have against me? I got an achievement unlocked. Story mode. Okay, so I think it's safe to say I completed it. I'm not sure what those extra blocks were for, though. Maybe there's like a secret ending? As for my thoughts on Midnight Evil, first of all, the game is $10, and I don't think it's worth $10. This is a $5 game. I think a better version of this is probably Night Blights, which I'm biased because my friend made that game, but I think that the game is a little too easy, and the monsters' behaviors, the Urklings, they don't really have unique behaviors from what I could see. The red ones showed up in packs, and the green one was the slowest, but I didn't see the white one do anything. The pale one with the blue hair, that thing didn't do anything to me, so it just kind of, they all show up the same way. And in that respect, it's very similar to Boogeyman, but I think Boogeyman's just better. It has a better difficulty curve than this does. So I really prefer Boogeyman. The biggest draw to this game and the most unique part of it is, unfortunately, a feature that I didn't get to enjoy because it has to use Cortana to do the narrate mode. So you have to enable all this stuff, and I was unable to do that. I don't know, I remember uninstalling Cortana a while ago through like a registry or something, or I opened up a command prompt somewhere and I disabled it that way. So I can't even find it. So unfortunately I wasn't able to use that. So maybe that might change my opinion on the game if I was able to use what actually makes it a unique experience. But I did not. So that's a little disappointing, and that probably affects my judgment of the game. So keep that in mind when I'm saying all these things, is that I didn't get to check out what makes this game interesting for a lot of people. Because I could definitely envision me sitting there reading the story and getting pulled in that way while I'm narrating, and making it harder to break out of that immersion and check out the monsters. I might have gotten killed more often. I might have had a more jarring time playing the game. So, maybe it adds a completely extra effect that I'm just unaware of. But I can only speak to what I know and what I experienced with the game, and I was a little underwhelmed for a game that cost $10. But let me know what you guys thought about Midnight Evil, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Think critically.